Okay, so for our next example, we have example 1-5. So the question is we are going to determine the magnitude and direction of vector C, wherein C is just the um, vector A minus vector B, so vector subtraction, and your vector D is B minus A, so the other way around, so B minus A. Now we have vector A, which is 3 meters towards 30 degrees from the positive x-axis, and then 3 meters towards the positive y-axis B. So, I guess A from the positive x-axis, upward na siya. 30 degrees upward from the positive x-axis. Alright, so let's now proceed with our solution. So, we have the given again. So, let's start with making A and B in its component form. So, we are going to express both vectors in component form. Okay, again, it would be very easy for us to perform vector operations if that is in component form, right? So I guess at this point at this very example, so 1.5 is, I guess you have already practiced your skills in expressing vectors in component form. That would be a very easy skill siguro to master, right? So let's start with A. Your vector A now, that is 3 meters. So if we have your x and y, or your Cartesian axis, Cartesian plane, we have your x-axis here, we have your y-axis, and it is directed towards 30 degrees, that is upward. Upward na siya. 30 degrees from the positive x-axis. So this would be our vector A with an angle of 30 degrees inclination. Now for vector B, we have a direction of 3 meters towards the positive y-axis, so that is upward. This would be our vector B. Okay, that is vector. So therefore, automatic na natin value ni B. Your vector B has a component of 0, 3 meters. Ngano 0, 3 man, sir? Again, that is directed towards the positive y-axis. So therefore, 0 ang iyahang x component. Then whatever magnitude, that would be your y component. So that would be 0, 3 meters. That is for the B. How about for A? For A is we will be having your x here. Your x component is 3 cosine 30, right? And for your y here, that would be y is equal to 3 sine 30. So let's just directly substitute it. We have 3 cosine 30. How much? 3 cosine 30. That is equal to 3 squared, or ako siya round off, that would be 2.5981. And then your 3 sine 30, that would be 1.5 siguro. 3 sine 30, that would be 1.5. And that is also in meters. So therefore, we already expressed the two vectors in component form. Now, we are going to solve vector C. Your vector C, that would just be vector A minus vector B. Now, for D, vector D, that would be baliktad, B minus vector A. So when we perform algebraic vector operations, it's either subtraction or addition. The very ang essential dihang part would be your expressing your vectors in component form. Now, if na-express na mo siya in component form, then you just perform simple algebraic na operation. Now, for example, C, since A minus B man na siya, your CX would just be AX minus BX, right? Now, for your CY, that would be AY minus BY. Mora na, inara siya kasayon. For DX, that would be BX minus AX. Tapos, DY is equal to BY minus BAY. Okay, so let's just substitute. AX minus BX, that would be 2.598 minus 0, so that would be 2.5981 meters. AY minus BY, that would be 1.5 minus 3, that would be negative 1.5 meters. So therefore, your vector C has a component form of 2.6 na lang, ako i-round off, 2.6 and negative 1.5. The unit is in meters. but we are going to determine the question. The question is the magnitude and direction. So for the magnitude, all right. Again, if we have the component, the next step that you should do is you identify kung asa siya quadrant kay it will give you the idea on asa nimo ibutang imuhang direction. For example, for vector C, we have a positive x and negative y. So if that is on a Cartesian vector, a positive x and a negative y is on quadrant 4, right? That is on quadrant 4. So therefore, the magnitude of C is just simply the square root of 2.6 squared plus 1.5 squared. Positive ramang gihapon na siya. Therefore, the magnitude is the square root of 2.6 squared plus 1.5 squared. This would be 3 meters. Iyahang magnitude. Now, how about the direction? If that is in quadrant 4, right? If that is in quadrant 4, ang iyahang theta would be something ingon ani, right? Quadrant 4. So therefore, theta is the arctangent of y over x. So that would be 1.5 over 2.6. Again, wala na nato i-consider ang negative ha because we are dealing with angles. Kabalo naman ta sa direction sa to angle. So therefore, absolute value na lang ka. So therefore, what is the value of our theta? That is arctangent of 1.5 over 12.6 or 2.5981 para medyo exact. So that would be 30 degrees. That would be 30 degrees. Asa na siya dapit? Ano nang buta ka na to? Direction. Muna yung direction sa theta. So therefore, nanatay C na napuntay nanatay magnitude and direction of C. Now let's proceed with dx and dy. So our dx here would be bx nato is 0, our ay is 2.598, so this would be negative 2.5981 meters. For dy, that would be 3 minus 1.5, so that would be positive 1.5. So our vector D has a component form of negative 2.6, comma 1.5. The unit is in meters. Now, again, identify what quadrant. That would be in quadrant negative x, and positive y, that would be in quadrant 2. Diba? So if that is in quadrant 2, the direction is somewhere naka-ingon ani. Diba? That would be your theta. So our magnitude is almost the same kasi since the same naman ang value, 2.6 squared plus 1.5 squared, that would be equal to 3 meters. Now, how about for theta? Theta now would be the arctangent of same gihapon, 1.5 over 2.6. That would be 30 degrees. Pero again, ang direction niya is kani, nakaingon ana. Because this is in quadrant 4, this is in quadrant 2. So, muna yung direction. So, we have your magnitude and direction. Okay. Sorry, wala nakita. Naraday. Parehara gihapon na sila. Your C and D ilaha magnitude is 3 meters gihapon. And your direction is opposite. Since this is in quadrant 4, alright, quadrant 4 ni si C, si D is nasa quadrant 2. So, muna ilahang direction. Okay, I hope everyone is nakasunod. So, let's check if our answers are correct. So, we have 3 at 330. So, 330 kay, that is in quadrant 4. So, therefore, if that is 360, di ba? From the positive x clockwise, so that would be 330. Ano, kuha mo na siya. Alright? Okay, 360 minus 30 degrees ni siya, so therefore that would be 330. Dire, that would be, if this is 180 minus 30, that would be 150. Alright? So therefore our D is correct. That's 150 degrees from the positive x-axis clockwise. I mean counterclockwise, sorry. That's counterclockwise since positive angle. So, kaswat dere, this would be 330 degrees counterclockwise from positive x-axis. Dere, this would be 150 degrees counterclockwise from positive x-axis. Right? So, kana. Therefore, we have the same answer. So now we can now proceed to the next example.